Amazing answer. Thank you. So what we're seeing is we're seeing these pictures of Hinkley Point C, which is this inside the reactor being constructed. We're seeing this absolutely enormous stadium-sized wall of concrete and incredible complexity. So what you're saying is that all that can be replaced by basically a modular reactor arriving on a ship, being collected on a big lorry, and just being driven around Kenya to its home, and then it being offloaded, and then starting up producing nuclear power in the country just within a short time.
Yeah, and one thing that I find really exciting, my background is in fuel design and core design. And so some of these small modular reactors, you can design them such that the core can last 7-10 years. So you're really just delivering it once, plopping the module down, and then you don't have to think about it again in terms of refueling.
Okay, so sorry, you're saying that the core lasts, did you say 7 to 10 years?
Yes, it really, there are many different designs, but yes, it's much longer than cores that we have today, than reactor cores we have today. So right now, we replace the fuel regularly.
Yeah. So, okay, but with the small modular reactor, that raises the question then, well, at the end of the 7 to 10 years, how do you replace the fuel at that point?
So, it depends on the specific SMR technology. There's many different options out there. But some of the ones that are further along in the process, they just treat the core itself as modular. So kind of like we have in the United States for a long time, our Navy nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers, right? So we just replace the entire core at once instead of trying to do a fuel reload. So the core would be treated as modular as well. You would bring in a new configuration.
So we'll come to Liz in a minute to talk about consumer reaction to nuclear, but I think it's important, Amanda, that we put on the table some of the issues that people do see with solar and wind, and certainly there's a big concern. I mean, in the UK, we have a situation where in winter we have cold days, because it's winter, the level of sun is very, very low. And on those cold days, we have virtually no wind either. So people are concerned with solar and wind that basically we can have days, and those days obviously can extend into weeks. And with climate uncertainty, those could be multiple weeks. We could have weeks with no solar and wind, so we need something else. So certainly that's been a very, very big justification for nuclear. So when we bring all this so what's your comment on this whole process of nuclear versus the intermittent nature of solar and wind?
Yeah, and so our message is together is better. I think we need all tools in the tool belt. So solar, wind, renewables, hydro, they are important, right? But solar and wind, they have that intermittency and a pretty low capacity factor. And so that's why nuclear can be there for that base load and the abundant energy needed. And so I think really we're a great partner, and we can contribute a lot in rapid decarbonization.
Okay, so what I'm reading is that in Africa, you mentioned Africa, and what I'm reading is that Africa over the last year has been very, very slow in doing anything. They've been doing very slow with renewables.